Thanks for being with us. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter and Instagram. As always, joined by Jeffy on this Wednesday, but also a special guest, Glenn Beck.
Hi.
Stopped by to say hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
I just wanted to stop by, say hi.
Okay. Yeah. Talk about your Tucker Carlson interview
if you want
yesterday.
to. I just really wanted to stop by and say hi.
Wow, isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Isn't that precious?
Talk to you later.
Okay, see ya.
Sure. So how do you think it went yesterday with Tucker?
I think it went really well. I mean, I had some real questions with, about Tucker. Mm-hmm. You know, he writes to me. In fact, let me see if I have the text. When he gets over there, he texts me.
You commented about that.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, dude, thank you. Now the NSA thinks I'm, I almost responded, Tucker, who's this? I don't know you.
Yeah. But didn't he tell you in his initial text? The NSA is watching, by the way.
They're watching. They're watching everything.
Right, I'm just saying, did he put that in the original text?
No,
no. Okay. Because
No.
his family didn't even know he was over there until he had already.
Yeah, until he got
landed.
over there. So he said, let's see here. I'm sorry. But he texts me and he says, hey, this place is great. This is an amazing city. I'm shocked. It's so worth visiting. We've been lied to. And I'm like, let's keep that in our inside voice.
Yes.
He said...
but he just means that it's not in ruins from all the sanctions and everything, right?
Well, he was very complimentary about Russia. So people are attacking him because
what he said is, I mean, this is so frustrating with the media because he got very upset because I pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. Mm-hmm. And he said, it all makes sense. And I haven't written to him, but I want to talk to him in person. There's a reason why I did that. I really didn't know where he stood on Russia. I thought I did, but you can't just
After
think.
everything we saw, everything that we saw between the interview and his other videos, it's questioned.
It is questioned. And so I asked him, what do you mean by that? And he got, as I pushed him on it, he really flipped. He said, I'm really having a hard time not using the F word on your show. And it's because he was, he's so tired of having to be clear on absolutely everything when he thinks some things are just understood. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm an American. I don't care about any other country than America. I'm not going to move to Moscow. I'm saying if this is what this crappy, communist country can do, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
And he said to me, you should go and visit. And I wanted to say, not on your life. I'm not Tucker Carlson. I'll just disappear and nobody will ever hear from me again.
That never happens to people from Russia. Stop it.
And he said, but you really have to go and see it. And I said, I get it. It's nice. It's nice.
What do you want?
But that was because Stalin and I said, this is kind of what what's his name Durante did in the New York Times. That's when he said, that's when he just exploded. Right. I'm not Durante. Durante denied everything was going on. I'm not denying things are going on. I'm just saying we're the freest people ever. We used to have clean streets. We used to have people not pooping in the streets.
Yes, we did.
We need to stand up and fight for it.
Tents as far as the eye can see in visible locations. That didn't used to happen.
No.
That's a new phenomena.
Tonight I'm doing a special on, you remember Cloward and Piven?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do a special on top down, bottom up, inside out, and Cloward and Piven. And I'm going to show you how, guess who? Remember when she used to tweet Pat to me and say, oh, this guy is so crazy. He says, I'm just a grandma. I'm not doing anything. Remember that?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Guess who's teaching the Cloward and Piven strategy again? Cloward or Piven.
Piven.
Oh my!
Yeah, Cloward. That would really be news.
Cloward was.
He's
still
long
dead.
after his
I
death.
got breaking news. He's still dead.
Okay,
he's still dead.
So that is confirmed.
Yeah,
he is still dead.
He's still dead. But she's out teaching
That's
it again.
Great. Where?
I don't know. New York, probably New York.
Like a university?
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably, what is
SUNY
that?
or whatever they call
SUNY.
that. Mm-hmm.
But if you look at what's happening, go on X and just look for New York hotels. Okay. Do you know how much? There's one of the nicer hotels. I think it's a Lowe's hotel in New York, the Millennium. It used to be called the Millennium. Do you remember that? Beautiful. 30 stories, sold out every night. The state of New York is paying for it along with the federal government.
Gosh.
They are now spending in Boston $26 a day. Is it $26 a day? No, that was dinner. It was like, I don't know. It was around $50 a day that they are paying for meals.
Each person.
Yes. Each person.
It's madness.
It's madness.
It can't.
Madness.
It cannot continue.
It can't continue, right?
No,
It's just,
it can't.
it's not possible.
It's Cloward and Piven. It's all going to collapse.
My gosh.
I mean, and you know, I said something to Tucker yesterday that was so good. You should look for this response. I said, how I don't understand you. I said, I grew up working class, so I appreciate the working class, and I can relate to it. I said, you grew up in Washington, D.C. Your dad, I think he was part of the CIA in some way. You know what I mean? He was in Intel.
He was part of the machine.
He was part of the machine. I said, you grew up in Washington. How is it you escaped all of this elitism because you are kind of elite, and yet you relate to the people? He said, I'm not. I don't. He said, I am the elite. I am everything that they are. But because I grew up around them, I know them, and I know them by name. He said, I know what a joke the Aspen Institute is. I know who these people are, and I despise them.
It's liars.
Yeah. He said, they are just horrible people. So it's not that I necessarily relate. He said, I am the elite. I don't try to pretend I'm not.
Still loves America. That's what he claimed.
said, but I love America, and I hate the people who are running it.
Which is the same for us. Yeah. You know, that's the exact way I feel. We love America, we defend it, but we can't stand how it's being ruined
right. And I
now.
think he didn't say this, but I think he has something in common with all of us and with Donald Trump. He loves Americans. He loves the people of America.
Yeah.
You know? And I do too, unless you hate America.
But what's happened with him is he has said good things about Russia, so that means he's Vladimir Putin's bitch.
Yeah.
That's what it automatically means. Well, he's not. He's just pointing out that, we've let our country go to ruin in some cases.
I found it really...
It's partly because of the oppression that they have in Russia, that they haven't allowed
That's what
the
I
same
said to
thing.
him. He
right?
said, I know that.
Yes.
He said, I'm not saying we should be Russian. We should be pissed off that the Russians have this...
Despite
and we have
their
tent cities.
Circumstances, right.
I mean, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right.
It is in part because of the liberty and freedom we have here that we're in the shape we're in.
So it was interesting to me, too, that he said in the interview that I said, so while you were leaving, Putin and Navalny, and he said, what is the deal with Navalny? And I said, what? He was killed, I think, by Putin. He said, you don't know that. I don't know that.
No, but
and
it's
I know,
right
and
once,
I said
you
it's
just
pretty,
assume.
Right. And
the timing is very interesting.
He said, why does that matter so much to Americans? We know who these guys are. That doesn't affect America. He said, we need to start paying attention to America and stop being... And I said, but you know about Navalny. And don't you think that's very similar to what's happening to Donald Trump? And he said, I don't care about Navalny. I don't care. I care about what's happening here in America.
Right.
All of the way he approaches these American stories now and the Russian stories make sense. Yeah. He's like, I don't care about the internal politics of Ukraine. I don't care about the internal politics of Russia. I don't care that they crossed the border. How does that affect us?
Yeah. Yes.
He's right.
He is right.
He's right.
He is right. But when you say things that are construed as positive or affirming about Russia than they automatically assume. Because I think I get tired of continually doing the disclaimers. Like on January 6th, yes, bad things happened, but it wasn't an insurrection. Nobody was killed on the other side.
What he's
saying. And I'm tired of doing that all the time. That part should be assumed. Okay? Yeah. So we should be able to just proceed from the fact that it wasn't an insurrection. It shouldn't have happened, but they have exaggerated things to the point where they've got to be called out on it.
Which was their plan all along.
I mean, have you heard Mike Benz yet?
I don't think so.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about his history because I think but he's like, one of these guys that I think has flipped. But I don't know. But I'm going to have him on the show, I think. He's a troublesome figure. However, what he has put together with the facts that he has is pretty remarkable. And he explains exactly what and why everything is happening the way it is. He said the militaries of the world are running the world.
We see that.
Right. He said the intelligence and defense department of the Western world, he said when they realized...
People we have in charge, that should scare us even more.
Oh, yeah. When they realized that the Arab Spring could happen, and they encouraged it to happen. Remember this? Mm-hmm. I said, and remember they stopped, in Iran, X was told by the State Department, don't shut down. Don't shut down for your usual maintenance. Keep it open. Remember that? Mm-hmm. So we encouraged all of these things, and with State Department money, we helped flip these countries, okay?
Sure.
When they realized that, then the next thing they did was go to Ukraine. The guy who we flipped out was duly elected by the people, right? But we didn't like it. Mm-hmm. So we trained all the people on the streets to rise up so we could get the guy we wanted. And we have we have actual audio of the State Department talking about this. We've had this. Yeah, we've had this for 3 years, okay? Mm-hmm. But now all the pieces are starting to come together and verifying. Enough of it is verified. So when they flipped, when they realized that people could connect with one another and you could flip democracy, and they no longer had control of the ballot box, okay, because they didn't control the media. Media was dying. The Pentagon was the one that said, this is a danger to democracy. And all the world leaders got together and said, these people could flip us anywhere we don't want to go. They're too stupid. They don't understand what we're trying to do. And all of the NATO, it's really NATO, I understand in clear terms now. That's not about defense. That's about the international banking system, okay? When they realized that if these democracies start to fall one by one and they start to disconnect from one another, and what we built after World War II goes away, then all of the muscle is no longer behind the banking system, okay? That's why everybody, when they went to Russia and everybody lined up, that's because you will comply with the system that we have already set up. You are not getting out of this, okay? Mm-hmm. So they started to control the internet and do misinformation and all of this stuff. That's all to control people from not voting the way they did with Donald Trump. It's a fascinating, fascinating.
Then it gets you into why they hate Elon so much now.
Exactly right.
He's gone against them.
He's gone against them. Right. And it's not a coincidence that 7 federal investigations started immediately after he said X is free.